There continues to be challenges in the New Bedford fishing industry, whether it's rogues or regulations. It has not been an easy year for the port, which has still managed to be #1 when it comes to the value of fish landed here. The one constant, however, is the New Bedford Fishing Heritage Center, which continues to open its doors and offer a glimpse of fishing today and in years gone by. Laura Orleans joins us to talk about what's happening at the Fishing Heritage Center in February. And judging by the list of events I saw, a lot is happening.
It's a busy month.
Welcome, Laura. We start the month with some music. Is that right?
That's right. So old favorites. If anybody has been to the Working Waterfront Festival, you've probably heard the Beans over the years. So Jim Bean and Steve Solwood, two-thirds of the Beans, are going to be performing on Thursday, the 7th of February at 7 o'clock, and that is a ticketed event. There's information on our website, but they're wonderful. They do a lot of maritime music, some sea shanties, some old-time music, sometimes a little gospel music sneaks in there, and they're just wonderful people, warm, wonderful voices. Jim is actually a music teacher at Friends Academy as well.
All right. And there is one concert a month, really.
We have been managing one concert a month, and so, stay tuned. We're going to have Irish music in March if you're looking for that.
Are they normally all like the beginning of the month?
Typically at the beginning of the month. A little bit depends upon whether somebody might be touring. As it happens, I'll just give you a quick little sneak idea or whatever. John Connolly, whose name you may not know, but his famous song Fiddler's Green, he was the author of that song, and he is touring. He's from the British Isles. And is well up in years. This may be his last tour of the United States, and we snagged him. He's going to be coming June 6th, which is the beginning of the month of June, and it is a Thursday evening. So.
Okay, we mention this every time you come by. Scanning Day. This is scheduled for Saturday, February 9th, 10 to 12. What is it? Why do people come?
So Scanning Day is our effort at crowdsourcing the history of the fishing industry, fishing community. Most of that history resides in family homes and family photo albums, and so it's an opportunity for anybody in the fishing community to bring photographs or documents that they would like to have digitized. We will scan them right there on the spot, give back the originals, give you a digital copy, and for us what it does is to build the digital archive.
Okay, so it's important. I know it's just a small line on the schedule, but it is important for the Heritage Center. Now, February 11th, I saw some of this artwork on the web, and I was very impressed with it. Shell art workshops are happening at 5:30, again at the Fisherman's Heritage Center, 38 Bethel Street in New Bedford. And there's a Valentine theme here.
Exactly. So Melanie Massa runs a little company called Mermaids and Baubles, and she's done a number of classes for us. She's done some sea glass jewelry classes, but what I think is most exceptional is these little miniature sailor's valentines that she makes, and she turns them into jewelry. So this is an opportunity for, if you're crafty, or even if you're not, to have a couple-hour class with her, and you'll walk away with either a Victorian bookmark or a shell pendant. And she'll provide everything you need. There, of course, is a fee for the class. All the details are on our website. And there are 2 classes offered that evening, so you can sign up for both, or you can sign up for one or the other.
And it is... her work is beautiful.
It is really exquisite.
It's eye-catching. So if you're into that, there you go.
And one thing, if you're not inclined to make your own one of those, we do have her work for sale in our gift shop. So if you're looking for something for that special sweetheart.
All right. And the gift shop hours are?
Gift shop hours and the museum hours are 10 to 4, and that's Thursday through Sunday. We are open free of charge. Donations are, of course, always welcome.
On the 14th, Valentine's Day, there is a remarkable exhibit at 6:30 at the Heritage Center. This is called Commercial Fishermen of New England. And what it is some 20 charcoal drawings of fishermen at work. It's, if you've seen them, if you like the Heritage Museum on Facebook, you can see these things. Or you can just go to their Facebook page, New Bedford Fishing Heritage Center, and you'll see them. It's a remarkable piece of work. Who does it?
Suzanne Starr. So Suzanne Starr lives in the Mystic Seaport area, kind of close to the Stonington fishing port of Connecticut. And she and her husband have both kind of made a study of fishing in New England. Her husband may be somewhat known to your listeners, Markham Starr. He co-published a book with us, with Kirsten and myself, years ago called Voices from the Port. Voices from the Waterfront was the name of the book. And since that time has produced a number of books and also films. Suzanne, his wife, was a high school art teacher by day and is recently retired and is quite an artist in her own right. And so we're very pleased to present her images. And then the following evening, a film by Markham Starr. They're kind of a companion set of programs. All right.
Are those drawings for sale?
Do you know? That's a really interesting question, and I don't know the answer. You stumped me. Often we do sell work off of the wall. I will have to get back to you on that. I don't know what the arrangement is.
All right. Nowhere in the promotional material did it say they were for sale. So.
And it never occurred to me. I haven't been involved in the logistics of that.
Unique. They're that nice.
Yeah, they're really beautiful. And as somebody said to me, we're so glad that you're doing this exhibit. Normally artists are often known for painting the boats. And in fact, the faces and the images of people at work are really compelling and deserving of attention. So we're glad to have that show.
Every month, the Fishing Heritage Center presents a documentary film about fishing, not just the Port of New Bedford. This month, it's about Point Judith. It happens on, as Laura has mentioned, on the 15th of February, 7 p.m. in the auditorium of the National Park Building on William Street. So what's the film about? What is it? What's the storyline
Well,
here?
as I've started to say, Mark really took a fascination with the fishing industry probably 15 or so years ago and has just made it his mission to document what he sees as, to some extent, a fading industry. And so this is probably one of 50 films that he has made in the last 5 years or so. And what he often does is he just goes down to the docks and talks to the fishermen and asks if he might go out with them and documents their way of life. And so this is an example of that. And his work, he's an exceptional filmmaker. He's also just really good at getting people to share with him what they do. He's it is a knack. It's not always, and especially, as you know, people in the fishing industry are kind of quietly proud of what they do, but not always willing to open up to strangers. So I would encourage people to come and see that film.
That film about Point Judith in the port happens on Friday, February 15th, 7 p.m. in the auditorium of the National Park Building on William Street. No charge.
No charge. It's free of charge.
Donations are welcome, for sure. There are some other projects that are coming up that are good to talk about, but two things have been added to the list. If that wasn't enough, all of that, there are a couple of other things we want to talk about. And that, of course, is school vacation week.
Yes, indeed.
Which, there are many folks who say, gee, what am I going to do with the kids? School vacation week, how can I keep them busy? And not only how can I keep them busy, but how can I keep them busy and they learn a little something?
There you go.
That would be good.
There you go.
So you have come up with a plan.
We've come up with a plan. So we are, always open at this point, free of charge. But during the school vacation week, we'll have some special craft activities for kids. And we're still trying to figure out exactly what we're going to do. But there will be something Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday that kids can do and, make and take. But we also have some fun things that families may not know about. We have a scavenger hunt. We have a game that we're actually revamping as we speak. Back at the office, I've got my staff and volunteers working on this, but we've got a big, giant blue sort of ocean thing on the wall, and we are creating images of every type of fish and shellfish that has landed here in the Port of New Bedford, and it's a matching game. So you can test yourself. This is not only for kids, but we find that adults have challenges. We can all pick out the red fish. We're pretty good at that. But you'd be surprised. Most people don't know what a monkfish looks like, and so it's an opportunity to match those things.
School vacation week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. And that's 10 to 4. We're still putting together the final pieces. It will be free?
It will be free. It will be free.
Wow. Yeah. And you have someone who is going to work with kids
We do. We have some wonderful volunteers. Some of them are retired school teachers and, folks who just have a nice knack with the craft element. And so we do have a couple of women who are usually ready and willing and able. The other thing that kids love, and this is kids of all ages, is the opportunity to put on a survival suit and see if you can do it in under 60 seconds. So we do have enough suits in many different sizes that this is the sort of suit that a fisherman would put on in a serious situation where they have to abandon ship, but they try to do it in under 60 seconds as well. Mm-hmm.
All right. And the other new event is a trivia night, which is happening on Thursday, February 28th, 2019, 7 to 9 p.m., also at the Fishing Heritage Center, 38 Bethel Street. Your sponsors include Chris Electronics and Moby Dick Brewing. It's a 5-5-5 operation. $5 for the cover, $5 for beer, 5 chances to win this event.
Exactly. Okay. And it should be a lot of fun. Now, this came to us, actually, Chris Electronics, which is sort of our neighbor, one of the marine electronics firms, is always at the Commercial Marine Expo, and, you're always trying to get people to come over to your booth. So Angelique, the office manager there, came up with a trivia opportunity at the trade show, and I saw her doing this, and I said, oh, my gosh, we should do this at the Fishing Heritage Center. So she is actually going to be the one asking the questions, and she's assured us that even if you're not in the fishing community, you have a chance to win. There'll be questions about boats in the movies, for example. So everybody can play. There will be some fun prizes. Not sure what those are yet, but remains to be seen. Beer from Moby Dick Brewery, and their local brewery, and it should be a lot of fun. And if it takes off and people like it, maybe we'll do it as a regular thing.
I think it will take off.
I think so too. We're also talking about a Cribbage Night, so for anybody out there listening, I've been practicing. And cribbage is a game that has been played on fishing boats for a long, long time. Nowadays, they watch Sat TV more than playing cribbage, but definitely a good game.
At one time, cribbage was big.
It was big.
All right. And again, all of these questions will, will be about New Bedford, the Port of New Bedford.
Port of New Bedford, the fishing industry, fish, commercial fishing.
All of that.
Boats, all of that.
Okay. Yeah. You're listening to Townsquare Sunday. My guest is Laura Orleans of the New Bedford Fishing Heritage Center. Not a museum, a center. I want to make that very clear to Richie Canastra and others. The Heritage Center has also been involved with some other projects as well. I just wanted to get an update.
Oh, sure.
Like a history of labor strife on the New Bedford waterfront. You completed with that?
We completed the research piece of that, and so we are actually waiting at this point. We've applied for pretty major funding to redevelop our permanent exhibit and integrate those themes of labor and immigration, and we'll see what happens. We'll be hearing in the next 3 or 4 months, I would say. And that would also add a lot of what I would call digital storytelling to our exhibit, so you can actually listen more to the people who've experienced the history or who are working in the industry now talk about their lives.
And you are still speaking with people who work in the industry, or we know?
Oh, yes. That's an ongoing constant.
Audio
interviews or oral history, we call it. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
That's ongoing. All right.
Ongoing.
It would be nice to see light at the end of the tunnel. Perhaps, for that.
Oral history? Well, I would hope it would never end because there will always be people, right, with stories to share. Yeah. We do have, if you want to jump ahead, we're working on a pretty big exhibit that will be in the center's gallery from April through June, focused on the history and evolution of wheelhouse technology. So how did things like communication and navigation and finding fish change from the time that you were using sounding leads to the time that everything is satellite driven. So we've been doing some interviews focused on that, but also just collecting up old fishing gear and writing the text and all of that. And so we're really excited. That'll be opening on April 11th, the April AHA night.
All right. I was browsing your website, saw that you have an advisory committee made up of people who've worked in the fishing industry. I think you've talked about it before. How often do you tap their expertise?
We don't. It's not a formal group where we meet, on a regular basis. But for things like this technology exhibit, not my area of expertise. I've been trying to learn, but We've had a number of fishermen kind of read through the text and give us pointers about which are the essential pieces of electronics in a wheelhouse. And actually, Chris Electronics has been hugely helpful in terms of sharing their advice and expertise, but also adding a number of electronic devices to our wheelhouse, and they'll be lending many of the older pieces to us for the exhibit as well.
Okay, New Bedford Fishing Heritage Center. The first event, February, Jim Beam and Steve Solwald, February 7th, 7 p.m., 7 to 8. Concert, free concert.
Oh, no, that's not a free concert. Ticketed event.
All right, ticketed event.
Tickets are available online through brown paper tickets, but also at the center and at the door, of course.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry for that. It is a ticketed event, but we've got some other events, and school vacation, trivia night. Where can people go to get more details about any of these
I would
things?
suggest either our Facebook page or our website, and that's just fishingheritagecenter.org.
My guest has been Laura Orleans, Executive Director of the New Bedford Fishing Heritage Center. Not a museum, folks. Thanks for coming in as always.
Thank you so much.
All right. We hope 2019 a great year for you and the Heritage Center.
And likewise, thanks so much. Really appreciate your support.
That's this week's edition of Town Square Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks also to Production Director Jason Kent and Digital Editor Casey Sylvia for their help in getting the program on the air and on our social media sites. I'm Jim Phillips. Until next time, have a great week and a wonderful Sunday.